I had been, an academic who did research on the healthcare sector. I studied big healthcare programs like Medicare, like Medicaid, like private health insurance, and so forth. And so I'd been sort of toiling away, advising students, writing papers, teaching classes on this stuff, but not really on the front lines of policymaking. I was called in March of 2009 by the head of the President's Council of Economic Advisors, Christina Romer, to see if I wanted to come to DC. So it was really an exciting opportunity for me to go to DC to deploy all this knowledge that I had acquired over many years to assist on healthcare reform legislation. My experience in DC was incredible in many ways, but one thing that I did find during the process is there are many groups that are struggling to get involved, to have their voices heard. What I was struck by was the intensity with which sort of advocacy groups or lobbying organizations or whatever else were kind of in the mix with their view, and how relatively few groups there were that were just saying, can we help? I'm just one person. I've done some research on these programs. When I look at the whole school, when I look at this whole university and think about how much this collective group can help policymakers, it's pretty impressive to me. Wharton is really extremely well positioned to contribute to policies, whether it's healthcare reform, financial regulatory reform, tax reform, reforming entitlement programs, and many other things, trade policies and so forth. The faculty here have a real comparative advantage in understanding how policy is going to affect business. And I think that now is perhaps more important than ever. Politics is complicated, and it always will be, but we're going to try to make it easier for those policymakers to do a better job. One of the overarching goals of this initiative is to get unbiased, first-rate research into the hands of the people who can benefit most from it. Let's say you think about tax reform or Social Security reform or energy policy or what have you. There will be one or more agencies in the executive branch and one or more committees on Capitol Hill that will be especially interested in those issues. They're eager to get information, but they're spread very thin. The Public Policy Initiative will connect policymakers with research that's being done here at Wharton or elsewhere at Penn that can help them make better decisions. We want to help policymakers understand things at a deep level, but it's not just limited to policymakers. We want to help alumni understand things at a deep level, journalists, and just the general public, because these are complicated issues. They're extremely important. They often get sort of changed into these bumper sticker, soundbite type issues, and that's not a great thing for good public policy. So we are trying to get this expertise in the mix to educate not just the policymakers, but really anyone with a thirst for learning more about these challenging issues.